After 8 years in the comparative wilderness on Capitol Hill, Nancy Pelosi is now the most powerful and important Democrat in American politics, the Speaker of the House and the highest-ranking Democrat in Donald Trump's Washington. Pelosi claiming back the Speaker's gavel yesterday and joined by a large and diverse new class of Democrats. Those Democratic freshmen include 24 people of color, 42 female members, and the first Native American representatives, to mention just a few milestones. In the hours since retaking the majority, Pelosi and the Democrats have passed legislation with their offer to end the shutdown and introduced legislation on voting rights, ethics reforms in a bid to require the release of presidential candidate tax returns. Obviously, if those bills make it out of the now Democratic House, they will still need to clear the still Republican Senate, where Mitch McConnell holds sway if they're ever going to reach it to the president's desk. Joy Reid, host of AM Joy, sat down with Speaker Pelosi for an exclusive MSNBC town hall. It's going to air at 10 o'clock tonight. She asked the new speaker about her relationship with Mitch McConnell. Let's watch.
Mitch McConnell, your colleague, your counterpart in the Senate, has made it clear that even though these were Senate bills that were passed by Republicans, that he won't put them back on the floor unless the president approves of them. How do you get around this conundrum if the other half of the first branch of government will only act at the behest of the president?
Well, I think that what Mitch McConnell is doing, and I say this as respectfully as possible, is saying we're not needed. Congress might as well stay home. All we need is one person to show up, Donald Trump. And that's not what our founders had in mind. They talked about co-equal branches of government. Article 1, the legislative branch, the people's branch of government.
And Joy Reid joins me now, again, counting down here to that town hall tonight. Joy, a lot of interesting stuff in here, but just to connect it to what we've been talking about, what everybody's talking about right now, this shutdown is still ongoing. So you see a little bit in the answer there you got from Pelosi, an attempt a little bit publicly maybe to shame McConnell into doing something. But how is that going to play out over the next few days, do you think, in terms of the dynamic between Pelosi and McConnell, the Capitol Hill side of this shutdown?
You know, I have to say, Steve, and I think you as a historian of sort of the way that Washington has worked, history is full of powerful speakers, the Tip O'Neill, Sam Rayburn sort of class of speakers, the Newt Gingriches, the people who wield considerable power in the body, and also full of powerful Senate leaders. You think of LBJ, of course, being the classic version, but at one time, Mitch McConnell styled himself that kind of Senate leader. When President Obama was in office for 8 years, Mitch McConnell wielded power quite ruthlessly and made it very clear that the president was not a more important or powerful figure than him as far as he was concerned. As soon as Donald Trump was elected president, Mitch McConnell immediately, as did most Republicans, as did the former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, subordinated himself to this president. And he's still doing it. So I think what you saw today was Nancy Pelosi trying to push Mitch McConnell to say, guard the power of the United States Senate. Let's make ourselves once again a co-equal branch of government. This tradition of sending bills to the president's desk and letting him veto if you want, it's gone. The current president doesn't have to veto anything because he has to approve before the United States Senate will even vote on a bill. I think both in her acceptance speech for the speakership and today in the interview that I did with her at Trinity, Washington University, Nancy Pelosi said, Mitch McConnell, do your job, guard the Senate, send a bill to the floor, and send the bill to the president's desk and let him veto it if he wants.
Well, another part of this town hall that, again, is going to air a couple hours from now. Pelosi was asked about what kind of challenges she faces as the most powerful female politician in the country right now. Let's watch.
Whatever the path is, whether it's right out of college or whatever, know your power. Just know your why. Why are you interested in public service or whatever it is, the academic world, military, corporate America, whatever it is. Know your why. Know your subject. Know why you're doing it. Know what it is. Know about it so that you can speak with authority on it. Have a plan. Be strategic. And communicate. If you show your vision, your knowledge, your plan, you will be able to attract. That connection is so important. And so have your own confidence. Don't worry about their hang-ups.
I guess that's an interesting question, too, just a broader one, and I'm curious what your sense of it, Joy, is what Nancy Pelosi's vision of the speakership is, because this is somebody, she's a legislative master. She understands coalition politics. Politically, she's a disciple. It was, 40 years ago, Phil Burton, who had the congressional seat before she did. He was a legislative master. She comes from that same school. What is her vision of this speakership in the Trump era?
Well, and we got to it a little bit later in the interview, talked a little bit more personally about her. This is a woman who comes from a household of executives, 2 mayors, her brother as well as her father. She understands and is not embarrassed about wielding power. She sees the speakership the way that past speakers, the Tip O'Neill School, saw the speakership. It is a tremendously powerful office. It's called the 3rd most powerful office because of the vice president, but in a way, it's the 2nd most powerful office. This office has the ability to go head-to-head with the president. She's not embarrassed about wielding that power. And I think what she was getting to in that answer, Steve, we're in this era where everything a woman who seeks power or holds power does gets hyper-scrutinized, including by us. If you're dancing when you were in high school, we're going to scrutinize that. If you're cursing, we're going to scrutinize that. If you just want to be president, suddenly we're digging into everything about you and scrutinizing, down to your DNA. Women who seek power instantly get the question, are you likable? Are you being nice enough? Are you, it's a very different way that we treat men who seek power. And so one of the things that's unique about Nancy Pelosi, even before she was speaker, is she's not embarrassed about seeking power. She sought the speakership. She was clearly going to get the speakership. She wasn't going to be deterred by all these arguments about it being unlikable or unpleasant for a woman to step up and say, no, give me the gavel. She did it. She said, give it to me. She said, win however you need to win, say what you need to say, but when it comes time to vote for the speakership, I'm going to win. And I think that is a model for the way that women potentially can seek and hold power, that you don't have to worry about likability. This woman runs that body. She counts those votes. She doesn't put a bill on the floor that she doesn't think she can get passed. And she, more than anyone else besides Harry Reid and President Obama's persuasive powers, made health care happen, right? The Affordable Care Act. And now she's there to defend it. So I think that, her vision of the future, I even asked her what her legacy is going to be, is that the things that she wants done in government, she wants to be able to at least get to a vote. If those things don't pass the United States Senate, in her view, that's on Mitch McConnell. She's going to demonstrate what Democrats are capable of doing with power, and whether that's transparency, whether that's protecting health care, whether that's, environmental protection. She intends to show Democrats can do this, led by a woman.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.